Bandipur Forest Safari. It is really high summer and it is visible through every leaf and a grain of sand here in Bandipur. But hopefully, the forest department has made some artificial water holes for the animals to survive. And so, it was not that difficult for us to spot them in their habitat. Elephants, numerous birds, and the apex predator himself were out in the waters in the afternoon in Bandipur. Like in Kabini, I took the package through JLR, Jungle Lodges and Resorts. But my journey this time was long as I went to Karnataka through Wayanad. So I had to cross through Wayanad and Mutanga Wildlife Sanctuaries to reach Gundlupet, a small municipality in Karnataka. From the town of Gundlupet, JLR's Bandipur Safari Lodge is just around 11 kilometers away. Here, the resort is situated right beside the highway. And as always, the behavior of JLR staff is just so amazing that one wonders where they are trained for all this. My room was right next to the main office and I freshened up quickly for a meal. The facilities are so classy that you will forget the expenses. The safari started after lunch. In between, I took a quick nap as well. This time, I sat on the front seat as I was alone and regretted it later. Anyway, we started from JLR's Bandipur Safari Lodge and finished the documentation process within 30 minutes at the Bandipur Safari office, which is situated nearby. We drove along Ooty Gundlupet Road for a while and entered Bandipur forest in a short time. I think most of the forests in India now in this weather look like this. I'm not sure about the Himalayan ranges and the Sundarbans. Anyway, it was a hot summer day, but with so much excitement inside, the safari jeep entered the forest through the trails made by numerous jeeps before us. We did not have to drive much because soon after we entered the forest range, there were some trumpet sounds from the left side. Most of the elephants in India are found in Karnataka itself. If I am not wrong, in that the greater number of elephants are in Bandipur and Nagarhole. But that was just the beginning. We moved forward and soon got the information about a tiger sighting. I have noticed this in Kabini as well, that whenever there is information about a tiger sighting, the drivers and the jeeps go mad. It's a frenzy, at least for a matter of a few minutes. So it was not different this time as well. Flying all the dust around, we followed the other safari jeep and soon reached a waterhole nearby. His Majesty was lying down, relaxing in the water with no care for anything. According to last year's statistics, out of the 54 tiger reserves in India, after Jim Corbett National Park in Uttarakhand, Bandipur hosts the greatest number of tigers and followed by Nagarhole. We are taught or told that the lions are the kings of the jungle. But as we observe the lions, we can see that young males leave their pride and attempt to take over another male's pride, and the cycle goes on. And they mostly depend on the kills by female lions to survive. But there is no pride or takeovers for tigers and even for leopards. These are the loners who get together only for mating or fighting. At least in this part of the world, I think we can call tigers the king without a doubt. This particular male we are looking at had just killed a sloth bear a few days before, according to our guide. On a closer look, one can even see the two big wounds on his face, which I am not able to show through this video. And that is most probably from a territorial fight with another male. The numbers say that there are 191 tigers in Bandipur alone. 319 tigers in Jim Corbett National Park, 185 in Nagarhole, and 167 in Mudumalai. Bandhavgarh in Madhya Pradesh and Dudhwa in Uttar Pradesh follows. And here's a lapwing courageously feeds on the other side of the waterhole. After almost 30 minutes, we left the place, leaving the king on his own. Like in Kabani, sambar deer and chitals or spotted deer are common in Bandipur as well. They are even present on the roads outside these zones of the forest, and of course, play the major prey for the predators here. I realized the stupidity that I did by sitting on the front seat as most of my views are through the windshield. Yes, there is an option to stand up as well, but it is not practical all the time. But I didn't mind, just a thin windshield was not enough for me to feel let down and waste my time in the forest. I soon got over it and after that found a serpent eagle sitting on the tree branch. They mostly feed on snakes and the name serpent eagle says it all. Sunlight was fading by then as we moved more forward into the forest. More birds started coming out by that time, mainly around the water holes. It was the first time I saw a yellow footed green pigeon, and there was a group mixed with a few other plum headed parakeets. I read before that these pigeons are mostly arboreal, and that means they tend to spend more time sitting on the tree branches. But here they were on the ground. I thought that they were looking for insects from the elephant dung, but soon I realized that they were pecking on the ground itself. Maybe for some minerals, I'm not sure. I regret not having a 600 lens here as I love plum headed parakeets, but I was not able to take photos of them because of the distance. But I'm still learning to handle a camera myself, so it's not the right time to get a heavy lens. We went deep inside the forest for another 15 minutes. I would really like to appreciate Karnataka government for all these facilities. The staff at JLR, including the drivers, the canteen staff, guides, everybody deserves an applause. By that time, there were many peafowls around the trails. I'm not sure what made them all come out at the same time, but there were many. Peafowl comprises of peacocks, the males, and peahens, the females. Easily distinguishable, I always think peacocks with their long hanging tails are having a hard time moving forward. And when I thought that everything was done, a herd of elephants appeared from nowhere. There are more than 1,000 elephants in Bandipur alone, and that made me wonder where all the others are hiding. But I came to the conclusion that I have no idea about the size of the forest. I am just underestimating it. One Gaur gave a quick glance. He must be so courageous to roam alone in this forest with predators everywhere. But I'm sure during the peak of the breeding season, he will wander widely in search of females. But bro, I really hope you will stick around with the group. The water holes are really helping these birds. Here, a few painted storks are feeding in the water. By the time we were leaving the forest, there was an Indian roller sitting with beautiful colors on a tree branch. That was my first time with this bird on sight, and I will never forget that. Nearby the same tree where the roller was perching, a laughing chick doing what she does the best, hatch and immediately follow her parents while the parents call out noisily. But well camouflaged in the forest, I felt like she was safe. And again, when everything was almost done, unexpectedly we saw a beautiful paradise flycatcher, a juvenile, in the far distance. But it was too short for a capture. We left the forest with a lot of memories of these beautiful, majestic creatures and soon reached the resort. I left to my room after a short snack, and that was it. But I'm surely going back to Bandipur.